When you respond to disrespect with silence and strength, you become something they can't control, and that terrifies them. Disrespect. It sneaks in when you least expect it. It's not always loud. It's not always a scream across the room. Sometimes it's a smirk that lingers too long, a passive-aggressive, just joking, a friend who keeps interrupting you, a partner who starts treating your time like it's optional, and you're left thinking, was that disrespect, or am I just being too sensitive? No, my friend, you're not imagining it. You're just waking up to it. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And today, we're not brushing it under the rug. We're handling it the Stoic way. Hey folks, picture this. You're a mountain, solid, still, unshaken by the weather. The wind can howl, the storms can roll in, but that mountain never flinches. That's who you become when you respond to disrespect the right way. Not by yelling, not by defending yourself to people who already chose not to respect you. No, you rise by remaining unmoved. You don't play their game. You become the boundary. Disrespect is bait. They toss it out and wait. Wait to see if you'll bite, if you'll flinch, if you'll explain, if you'll break. But not you. Not anymore. You're about to learn 7 ways, Stoic ways, to respond when someone disrespects you. And none of them require you to raise your voice or lose your peace. These responses are calm, quiet, powerful. The kind of power that makes people uncomfortable. Not because you're rude, but because you're untouchable. Let's break the biggest lie society feeds us, that we always have to stay nice. That if someone disrespects you, you should take the high road. And by high road, they mean keep quiet, stay polite, and swallow your truth. But the Stoics didn't teach blind politeness. They taught composure, they taught discipline, and they taught dignity. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to live with integrity, and that means knowing when to hold your peace and when to use it like a sword. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." That's Stoic power. That's what we're channeling today. Not revenge, not pettiness, but power that stands tall and walks away when it needs to. Not because it's afraid, but because it's already won. Now, maybe someone recently crossed a line with you. Maybe you let it slide. Maybe you kept the peace at the cost of your own. But today, we change that. Today, I want you to understand that every time you let disrespect slide without a boundary, you teach people how to treat you. And every time you stand tall without reacting, you remind yourself who you are. So, my friend, if you've ever been disrespected and didn't know what to say, if you've ever left a room thinking, I should have said something, this one's for you. It's time to stop second-guessing and start responding with power. Stay with me, because the 7 Stoic ways I'm about to share will not only protect your energy, they'll rebuild your self-respect from the inside out. Type it in the comments. I protect my peace. Say it out loud. Say it like you mean it, because from now on, that's your standard. And if you're ready to carry yourself like the mountain you are, strong, silent, unshakable, go ahead and like this video, subscribe, and stay locked in. Your peace matters. Your power is rising. Let's get into it. Number 1, the unblinking stare. Let silence say I see you. You don't have to raise your voice to be heard. Sometimes the silence is the loudest roar. Let's start with one of the boldest moves you'll ever make without saying a single word, the unblinking stare. Sounds simple? It is. But it's far from soft. It's not about intimidation, it's about power. The kind of power that doesn't perform, that doesn't flinch, that doesn't rise to the bait. Just imagine this. You're a stone lion in the middle of a chaotic street. Cars pass, people shout, birds flutter, but that lion doesn't move. It just watches. That's you. That's the energy you bring when someone disrespects you, and instead of reacting, you lock eyes and say nothing. Now let me ask you something. Why is this so hard for most people? Why do we feel this instinct to laugh off a rude comment, to nervously explain ourselves when someone questions our worth, to avoid eye contact like we're guilty of something? Because we've been taught a lie. We've been taught that silence means weakness, that if we don't fight back, we're losing. But that's just noise. Noise that was programmed into you by people who were uncomfortable with stillness. The truth: stillness is strength. Silence is command. And the stare? It's the most unsettling mirror you can ever hold up to someone who thought they could disrespect you and walk away untouched. Here's what happens when you hold that stare. Their words linger in the air, suddenly more exposed than they expected. You don't validate their disrespect. You don't reward it with attention. You don't offer them the drama they were craving. And in that moment, you flip the power dynamic. You become the observer, the witness, the person who holds control, not through force, but through presence. I remember sitting across from someone who had a talent for subtle jabs. Nothing loud, just those sharp little jokes that left a sting. For a while, I'd laugh it off. I'd respond with my own comment or try to redirect the conversation. But it never stopped. So one day I tried something different. I said nothing, just looked at them, not with hate, not with anger, just calm, neutral awareness. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, no words, just stillness. They fumbled, their smile faded. They looked around like the silence itself was attacking them, and they never pulled that move again. Why? Because the stare stripped away the social mask. It exposed their game for what it was, a weak attempt to feel powerful. And when you don't play, when you don't give them that reaction, they're left with nothing. Just the echo of their own insecurity. You see, the unblinking stare isn't passive. It's deliberate. It's the energy of someone who refuses to be baited, who refuses to explain their worth. It says, I see you. I see what you just did, and I don't owe you anything in return. That kind of restraint is rare, and rare is powerful. It's unsettling to those who thrive on chaos. It's humbling to those who expected you to break. Will it feel awkward at first? Oh yes, every fiber of you will want to fill the silence, to speak, to defend, to smooth it over. But lean into that discomfort. That's your old conditioning cracking. That's your real power waking up. And here's the deeper reason this works. It reinforces your self-worth. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you build a deeper belief that your presence is enough. You stop outsourcing validation. You stop trying to match their energy. You set the standard. And trust me, when you carry that energy, people notice, they respect it, or they disappear. Either way, you win. So next time someone crosses a line, don't react. Just look at them, hold your space, let the silence do the heavy lifting. You'll be shocked how fast their confidence fades when yours doesn't flinch. Say it with me in the comments. I respond with calm power. Write it to claim it. Speak it to become it. Show them. Show yourself. Show the world around you that from this moment on, your silence isn't fear, it's focus. And stay with me, because what's coming next is even stronger. The next Stoic move doesn't just expose disrespect, it dismantles it from the inside. Number 2, ask one calm question. What did you mean by that? The calmer you are, the clearer you see. And when you see clearly, You ask questions that shake foundations. Let me give it to you straight. Sometimes the most dangerous weapon in your arsenal isn't anger, silence, or sarcasm. It's a question. A simple, calmly delivered, "What did you mean by that?" No raised voice, no attitude, just clarity. And that one question, delivered with poise and a deadpan tone, can dismantle someone's entire facade. You see, disrespect often hides behind layers, behind jokes, behind tone, behind, "Oh, come on, don't be so sensitive." But here's what people don't expect. For you to calmly stop the flow of their nonsense and hold them accountable in real time. It's like flipping on a spotlight in a dark room. Suddenly, they're exposed. Suddenly, they're the one on the spot, not you. Now imagine this with me. You're in a conversation, maybe at work, maybe with a so-called friend, and they drop one of those slick little jabs, the kind that's meant to sting but also be deniable. A backhanded compliment, a just kidding insult. Normally you'd laugh it off or say nothing and let it stew, but not today. Today you pause, you turn to them, meet their eyes, and you ask, clear and calm, "What did you mean by that?" Boom. That one line pulls the rug out from under them. Why? Because now they have to explain their disrespect. And people who rely on veiled insults, on passive aggression, on sarcasm as cruelty, they hate being asked to explain. Because deep down, they know what they said was off. They know it came from a dark place. But they thought they could get away with it. And now, your question holds up a mirror they can't dodge. Let's break the lie right here. We've been conditioned to think that calling someone out means conflict, that asking questions makes things awkward, that we should just let things slide to keep the peace. But real peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from clarity, from truth. And truth, my friends, demands accountability. I've seen this play out firsthand. I had someone in my circle who always had something to say, always a joke about what I wore, how I talked, who I dated. And I let it ride for a while. I'd chuckle, brush it off, even make excuses for them, until one day I'd had enough. They made another slick comment, this time about something personal, and I just stopped, looked them dead in the eye and asked, "What did you mean by that?" No anger, no shake in my voice, just calm. You could feel the tension crack the air, and suddenly they were the one fumbling for words. They stammered, laughed nervously, tried to twist it into a compliment. But it was too late. Everyone in the room saw the mask slip. And you know what? That was the last time they ever tried it with me. That's the power of one well-timed Stoic question. It doesn't need volume. It doesn't need rage. It just needs clarity and presence. And let me tell you, this isn't just about calling them out. It's about reinforcing your own standard. When you ask that question, you're telling the room and yourself that you respect yourself too much to let disrespect pass unchecked. You're sending a message without making a scene. I'm here. I'm aware I don't let things slide anymore. But I get it. This isn't always easy. Some of you might feel the hesitation already creeping in. What if they get defensive? What if they say I'm overreacting? What if it ruins the vibe? Let me ask you, why are you protecting the vibe over your value? Why are you worried about their comfort when they had no problem making you uncomfortable? That's the shift, my friend. That's the moment you choose self-respect over social politeness. And that's not just powerful, it's liberating. So next time someone says something slick, don't brush it off. Don't internalize it. And don't fire back with heat. Just pause, breathe, and say it. What did you mean by that? Then let the silence speak. Let their reaction reveal everything, and whatever they say next, you've already won. Because you didn't stoop to their level, you raised the bar. Now type it in the comments. I ask calm questions. Let that be your reminder, your signal, your new standard. Say it to yourself, show it to the world, and stay with me, because the next move we're about to explore, that's where the real detachment begins. Number 3. Hold your frame. Respond as if you're untouchable. The moment you stop defending who you are is the moment they realize they can't touch you. Let's get into something that changes the game when you're being disrespected. Holding your frame. What does that even mean? It means this. No matter what someone says to provoke you, belittle you, question you, or test you, you don't flinch, you don't fold, you don't shapeshift to please them, explain to validate yourself, or react to prove a point. You stay in your energy, unmoved, like a mountain staring down a storm. That's your frame. Imagine you're a fortress, stone walls, iron gates, and someone's outside throwing pebbles, yelling insults, pounding on the door, hoping you'll crack. But why would a fortress open its gates to noise? Why would a mountain kneel to the wind? That's the mistake people make when they try to bring you down. They assume you need their validation to remain solid. They assume you'll bend because you're secretly seeking their approval. But when you don't, when you hold your ground like nothing they say could ever shape who you are, you break their script. You dismantle their illusion of control. Now, I know what might be going through your head. What if they keep pushing? What if I look cold? What if people think I don't care? Let's break the biggest lie first. You don't have to react to prove that you care. You don't have to jump into every emotional tug of war just because someone threw the rope. That's what they expect. That's the old version of you. The people pleaser, the self-doubter, the one who needed others to confirm your worth. But that version, gone. From now on, we hold the frame. I remember a situation that tested me deeply. Someone tried to belittle my work in a public space, half joking, half serious. You know the tone. That smug delivery that says, "Let's see how much I can get away with." The old me, I would have defended myself, explained, maybe even cracked a smile to keep the peace. But I didn't. I sat still, unbothered, looked at them with a calm that said, "You don't define me." No heat, no sarcasm, just unwavering presence. And guess what? They backed down. Not because I out-argued them, but because I refused to be shaken. That's the power of holding your frame. You've got to understand, most people who disrespect you are fishing for control. They want a piece of your attention, your peace, your emotional reaction. Because the moment you get flustered, the moment you get loud or defensive or try to explain, they've taken your center and dragged it into their storm. But when you stay calm, when you keep your internal state steady like a lighthouse in the middle of a hurricane, they realize they can't touch you. Stoicism is built on this exact principle. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, what they say is none of your business. Your business is how you hold your energy, how you stay rooted, and how you refuse to let their chaos disturb your inner order. But let's be real. This isn't easy at first, especially if you've spent years trying to keep the peace, prove yourself, or avoid conflict. The urge to react is powerful. You might feel that fire rise in your chest, that urge to clap back. But that fire, that's the test. That's the old you begging to be seen. And every time you choose stillness over reaction, calm over chaos, you silence that old voice a little more. And you grow into someone even you start to admire. So next time someone disrespects you, whether it's subtle or loud. Don't shrink. Don't puff up. Don't explain. Just breathe. Stand tall and hold your frame. Show them what self-mastery looks like in motion. Watch how confused they get. Watch how quickly their games lose power when you don't take the bait. Say it with me in the comments. I hold my frame. Let the world know. Let yourself know. And stay right here, because up next is a response that doesn't just protect your peace. It removes the weight entirely. We're not done yet. This is just the rise. Number 4, withdraw your energy. Not everyone deserves access. Your peace is expensive. Stop handing it out like it's free. Here's the truth most people don't want to face. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves your presence, your time, your thoughts, or even your silence. And when someone consistently disrespects you, the most powerful move isn't clapping back. It's withdrawing, quietly, calmly, completely. Picture this. You're a fire, warm, powerful. People gather around you to feel your light, but some start throwing sand instead of wood. They don't feed you, they test you, drain you, and you keep burning for them, hoping they'll change. Why? Why are you offering your fire to those who only want to watch it dim? Withdrawing your energy isn't petty, it's preservation. When you stop responding, stop showing up, stop explaining, you're taking your power off the table, and they feel it. Oh, trust me, they feel it. Not because you slammed a door, but because you disappeared without a sound. That absence, it echoes. It forces them to sit with themselves. But I get it. Pulling back feels hard at first. You worry you'll look cold. You'll look like you don't care. But here's the truth, my friend. They didn't care when they disrespected you. They weren't thinking about your peace when they kept crossing lines. So why protect their comfort now? Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Let's add this. If it is not respectful, do not stay for it. You're not here to carry people who constantly take from you. You're not here to keep proving yourself to people who already decided to misunderstand you. When someone shows you who they are with their actions, believe them, and then walk away without guilt. Say it in the comments, I protect my energy. Type it, own it, show it. Because the most stoic move you'll ever make isn't what you say, it's who you refuse to give your access to. And what's coming next? It's not just a boundary, it's a mindset shift that makes their words bounce off like rain on armor. Stay with me. Number 5, reframe the disrespect. It reveals them, not you. What they say about you says more about them. When you know who you are, their words can't reach you. Let's flip the script. Because here's what most people don't realize. Disrespect isn't always personal. It feels personal, it hits personal, but more often than not, it's projection. It's a mirror of their own insecurity, not a reflection of your worth. And once you understand that, you stop internalizing it and start analyzing it. Imagine someone throwing mud at a wall. If the wall is clean, it looks dirty, but the mud doesn't change what the wall is made of. That's you. They throw their bitterness, their sarcasm, their little jabs. But it doesn't mean it belongs to you. It means they don't know how to handle their own mess, so they project it onto yours. Now pause. Ask yourself, why do they act this way? What's underneath the comment, the tone, the smirk? Most of the time, it's fear. Fear of not being seen. Fear of not being enough. And when they see someone calm, confident, not easy to shake, you become a trigger. Your presence highlights their absence. Your peace exposes their chaos. Your strength makes them feel small. and they try to level the playing field by cutting you down. But don't fall for it. Don't absorb what was never yours. When you feel that sting of disrespect, tell yourself, this isn't mine to carry, because it's not. Their words are data, not destiny. It's a glimpse into their mind, not a sentence on your value. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." That includes the stories we tell ourselves after someone disrespects us. So shift the story. Instead of, "Why did they treat me like that?" ask, "What must they be battling inside to act like this?" That question puts distance between you and their behavior, and that distance is where your power lives. Say it with me in the comments, "Their words don't define me." Because the moment you reframe the disrespect, you take away its sting. You rise above it. And the next move we're diving into, that's where your presence alone becomes your loudest answer. Stay tuned. We're not done leveling up. Number 6, maintain posture and eye contact. Command respect without a word. When your posture speaks confidence, your words become optional. Let me tell you something powerful. How you carry yourself teaches people how to treat you. Long before you speak, your body has already told the room who you are. Your shoulders, your stance, your gaze, it all speaks. And when someone disrespects you, the way you hold yourself in that moment, that's your message. Picture this. You're in a room. Someone takes a verbal shot at you. Everyone's watching. They expect you to laugh it off, look down, shrink a little. But instead, you straighten up, shoulders back, eyes steady, calm face. You don't flinch, you don't break. You hold their gaze, not in anger, not in fear, just presence. And suddenly, the game changes. They feel it, the power shift. Because most people rely on the weakness of your posture to gain control. When you carry yourself like someone who knows their worth, it throws them off. You're not demanding respect. You're commanding it without a sound. This isn't about arrogance. It's about alignment. It's about holding your physical ground as a mirror of your mental ground. Epictetus said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." And your posture. That's you refusing to consent. So next time disrespect comes your way, don't react. Rise. Let your body do the talking. Let your stillness be the storm. Say it in the comments, "I walk with presence." Because the world watches more than it listens. And up next, we're ending this with the boldest move of all, the one that needs no words and leaves the deepest mark. Don't go anywhere. Number 7, walk away with purpose. Your exit is your loudest statement. You don't need to slam a door for them to know it's closed. Sometimes the silence of your exit is the sound that haunts them the most. Let's end this with the move that says everything without saying a word, walking away. Not out of spite, not to prove a point, but because your peace is too sacred to bargain with. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the quiet decision that says, "This no longer deserves my presence." Imagine you're at a table. The conversation turns, the disrespect creeps in. You feel it. The energy shifts. Old you would have stayed, tried to smooth things over, tried to fix what wasn't yours to fix. But new you, stoic you don't beg for space at a table where you're being picked apart. You stand up, calm, composed, and you walk out like the room lost its only asset. That's power. They'll call you dramatic. They'll say you're overreacting. That's because they're used to people tolerating disrespect. They're not used to someone who has standards so strong, they don't need to explain them. And when you walk away, not with rage but with clarity, you shift the atmosphere. You leave them sitting in their own chaos. You leave them wondering what just happened. And that silence, that's when the regret creeps in. You see, most people expect you to argue. They want the last word. They want the fight. Because if you're still fighting, they still have your energy. But when you walk away, you starve them of the thing they wanted most, your attention. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And nothing proves that more than your quiet exit. No drama, no explosion, just distance and the sound of your standards echoing behind you. Say it in the comments. I walk away with purpose. Because from now on, you don't stay where your worth isn't seen. You don't fight for crumbs when you were meant for a feast. And if this hit home, if you're done tolerating what you used to explain away, hit that like button. Subscribe right now